Southern Oregon Sports Talk with Matt Bagley. Presented by Medford BMW on 96.1 580 The Game.
Okay, I have a short show. I have Monday Night Football. Tomorrow, I'm helping my parents move. Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, I am celebrating the holiday just like you, getting ready for Turkey Day. This is my only show, and I've only got 30 minutes, so I want to make the most of this show. I'm going to get right to it. Talking Oregon State, and NFL as well. We'll get to all that tonight. Southern Oregon Sports Talk before Monday Night Football boots me off the air. Let's start with the single biggest impact crater of a game over the weekend. Oregon going to the desert, getting stunned. I don't want to talk about Justin Herbert. I don't think we learned anything new about him. I don't want to talk about Marcus Arroyo's play calling or Mario Cristobal going for it or an Andy Avalos defense getting shredded on 3rd and a mile in a do-or-die moment. That's irrelevant right now. You can't go back in time and change that. What I want to take away from that Ducks loss, you're not going to the playoff, but that's okay. Simple question for Duck fans. Is Oregon better now? 2-loss Oregon. Lost to Auburn, lost to Arizona State. Are they better now than they were in August? Because I remember asking you your expectations. In August, I said, what does this team need to do? What does a winning season look like? And for every person that said, Matt, they got to win 12 games, they got to breeze through the Pac-12, and they got to make the playoff, I would hear from 5 more people that said, Matt, 10 wins. Matt, just get to the Rose Bowl. Matt, just beat Oregon State. Matt, just show improvement. And I feel like if you stuck to those guns and you kept that as the guiding factor in what makes a successful season for Oregon, if you said, hey, we got to hit 8 wins, we got to get a good bowl game, we got to beat Oregon State, we got to beat Washington, we got to beat USC, all those objectives are done. All those boxes got checked. The Ducks are still going to have a great year, good bowl game. The Ducks are a better team than they were, great defense. If Andy Avalos stays next year, you can lean on that defense in more games and I think contend for another conference title. You got a great running game with an awesome offensive line. You have a passing game that, are you going to have question marks next year? Yeah. You're going to need a new quarterback. But you have a young receiving core. You got a lot of talent coming back there. And recruiting-wise, to me, this is the real strength of the Oregon program. Mario Cristobal proved that he could turn around all the recruiting losses that preceded him. Chase Cota didn't want to play at Oregon. Talanoa Hufanga from Corvallis, 5-star athlete, stud DB. He didn't want to play at Oregon. He goes to USC. Mario Cristobal says, okay, I don't need those guys. I'll find other guys. 4-star guys, 5-star guys. He did it last year. Kayvon Thibodeau, 5-star, one of the best defenders in the nation. And he's doing it this year with Penei Sewell's little brother, Noah Sewell. He's a 5-star linebacker, just committed to the Ducks. He is the first of many, I think. I think Mario Cristobal is killing it in recruiting, and I think Duck fans have every reason to hang their heads high. Are you going to the playoff? No. Are you going to win the Pac-12? Maybe. Not definitely, maybe. But the future is still really bright. And you hit every objective that you wanted at the start of the year. You beat Washington. You beat USC. You got a chance to beat Oregon State and wipe out your rivals this week, doom them from reaching a bowl game. You got a chance to beat Utah in the Pac-12 title game. Don't beat yourself up for one bad night in the desert. That's my takeaway from Saturday night. 541-630-4792. I want your takeaway. 541-630-4792. Are you sad Are you disappointed? Are you angry? Are you optimistic? Let me know. 541-630-4792. Also want to talk about Oregon State because I think you can really run the whole gamut of emotions after what the Beavers went through Saturday night. I feel for Beaver fan. You had that game in your grasps. You lost it. And I think there's a really interesting rhythm to how it all unfolded Saturday night. The initial reaction from everybody when Jonathan Smith goes for it on 4th and 4 with a minute to go and loses it, turnover on downs, and Wazoo marches down the field, aided by a couple penalties, scores a touchdown in the final seconds, stuns Oregon State, snatches a win from the jaws of defeat. The obvious gut reaction was to say, Jonathan Smith shouldn't have gone for it there. And I said that. And a lot of people on Twitter affirmed that. And then there was this really interesting bounce back of Beaver beat writers. I think of Dwight James at NBC Sports Northwest, big TV station up in Portland. I think about Bob Lundeberg with the Oregonian, my good friend of the station, coming out and saying, we have no problem with Smith going for it. We have a problem with people criticizing Coach Smith for going for it. And I understand it. Beaver fan, you want to defend your coach. He's gotten you this far. It's kind of like if you ever watch a JV basketball game or you ever watch a high school game just in general, watch the parents. Not every kid on that team is going to be a college football player, or not every kid on that team is an all-conference caliber student athlete. And yet, if you just watch the parents, you would think everyone on that team is the second coming of the 85 Bears, or the second coming of the Curry, Thompson, Durant, death lineup Golden State Warriors. They just can't be stopped. Everybody's an all-star if you just watch the parents, or you listen to the parents, or you hear what the parents say, because the parents are all biased towards their kids. I get it. They stand by their kid no matter what. They think their kid is perfect no matter what. I feel like Beaver fan is the same way with Jonathan Smith. Went to Oregon State, was a legend, coaches under Mike Riley, coaches under Dennis Erickson, goes to Washington, comes back to Oregon State. Now he's trying to restore that legacy of Erickson and Riley and build a new era of Beaver football, and you can't see anything wrong. I get it. But in that specific instance, 4th and 4, a minute to go. Your opponent has no timeouts. Your defense has forced turnovers all night. And your offense, more importantly, was getting stopped. The previous drive, they tried to run the ball 3 times, couldn't get in, had to waggle, had to get tricky, had to get cute to pass to Jermar Jefferson for the touchdown. Now this drive, you run the ball 3 times, they stuff you all 3 times. What do you do on 4th down? I'd punt it away. I would have punted that ball. I would have pinned Washington State back. At the very worst, your punter overhits it. It goes into the end zone, touchback, their ball at the 20. They got to go 80 yards in a minute with no timeouts. That's not happening. It's not happening. I like my chances there. I don't think Oregon State took that chance. I think they tried to get cute. I think they tried to go for it, and they got burned by it. And they give up the ball about 30 yards further than they should have. And if Jonathan Smith just punts the ball, they win that game, and they go bowling. It's as simple as that. You can pick on people for criticizing Jonathan Smith, or you can accept that that decision might cost Oregon State a bowl game. I want to hear from Beaver fan, 541-630-4792. I think he should have punted. I think he cost them a game, and I'm concerned going forward, will he have a similar mistake Saturday? Can we expect similar lapses in the future? When is it going to be fair to pick on Jonathan Smith for this? 541-630-4792. Text me your take. Tell me what you think. We'll talk about it next segment. Up ahead, There were things yesterday that impressed me. There were things yesterday that depressed me. I want to talk about both of them next and tell you what I'm thankful for, because it's my final show of the week. Final show of the week. I'm helping my parents move tomorrow. That means no show Tuesday. I got my PTO turned in. No show Wednesday, Thursday, Friday because of Turkey Day, holiday. I am spending some quality time with the lady and our family, and we're going to celebrate the best holiday on the planet. I come back Monday. I have 30 minutes tonight. I want to make the most of that. I'll be back next. Let's talk NFL. I'll tell you what I'm thankful for as a fan. Next on Southern Oregon Sports Talk, presented by Medford BMW on 96.1 580 The Game.
Southern Oregon Sports Talk with Matt Bagley. Talking local sports, weekdays 4 to 6 p.m. on 96.1 580 The Game.
I'm back and I'm pressed for time. Short show tonight. Hey, for the record, for somebody just tuning in at 4:15 and wondering why is Matt breaking routine, Joey Mack has a cold, so no Joey Mack interview tonight. I hope he gets better soon. But I got a lot to get to in this segment. I want to get into my thoughts on Week 12 of the NFL, good and bad. I want to get to my Civil War pick because, oddly enough, the way the schedule shook out, this is my only show of the week. And I want to tell you what I'm thankful for as a fan. Let's start there. I am thankful for relief. In 2019, we live in a world where if a ref screws up a call, we can see it, we have visual evidence of it, we have it archived on the internet forever, and we have a place to rant, a place to relieve and to empty. And I don't know about you, but I really need that. I think about growing up as a little kid. I'm 10 years old. I'm watching the Raiders in the playoffs, my favorite team, and they're going to win, and they're going to move on to the AFC title game because Tom Brady just fumbled in the snow. And the refs overturn it. We didn't have a place to rant. We didn't have a place to vent. I think about that and what the Tuck Rule game would have been like on Twitter. And I think about yesterday where three egregious calls impacted games. My Raiders got screwed by a roughing the passer penalty that is the tamest thing I've ever seen in my life. As DA said it on this show this morning, Maurice Hurst didn't tackle Sam Darnold. He tackled the grass near Sam Darnold. They threw a flag. The Cowboys getting called for tripping, why call that when you can call holding on any play, right? We know that one's egregious. And then Davante Adams last night. This was the first play from scrimmage. Sunday Night Football. Davante Adams gets shoved out of bounds by Richard Sherman. What does he do? Shoves him back. And they threw the penalty flag, and they called that taunting. I can't believe it. But I'm thankful as a sports fan because in 2019, we have an outlet for all of those terrible calls. We can complain. We can get it out of our systems. And a week from now, we won't even think about it. Thursday, when the Cowboys are playing Buffalo on Thanksgiving, we won't even think that they got robbed by a tripping penalty. When the Raiders are getting blown out by KC next week, we won't even think that, oh yeah, a roughing the passer penalty changed the course of their season. We won't even think about what happened to Green Bay when they win the NFC North. And oh yeah, Davante Adams got called for a phantom taunting penalty on the first play from scrimmage. We can complain. We get it out of our system. We move on. 2019. I'm thankful for that. You know, I noticed a lot. I didn't just watch those 3 games yesterday. I really dove into it. The rare Sunday home for me where I'm not driving to Portland or driving back from Portland or working. I feel like I learned a lot this week. I can honestly say I think I know who the playoff teams are going to be in the NFL. Consider this. When the Raiders lose in New York, they've proven they aren't a playoff team. When Carson Wentz misses wide open running backs 3 yards in front of him, he and the Eagles have proven they aren't a playoff team. We know who the playoff teams are now. We don't have to wait 5 weeks. It's going to be this. New England, obviously. Then Baltimore. 3 seed in the AFC. I think it's Kansas City. I think they cement it this week with a statement win. Houston gets the last division spot. I think that's the best team in a weird division. They'll lose this week because they got to face New England. But the last 4 games are all winnable. Denver, the Bucks, and they got the Titans twice. That'll seal it. And I think the wild cards in the AFC, one goes to Buffalo. Face it, they got to play Sam Darnold twice this year. They got to play Miami twice this year. And then the Colts sneak the other one. NFC, the Niners stunned the doubters last night. Stunned the doubters. Everybody like me that said, is that offense good enough? Is that defense healthy enough? Are they capable of beating an elite team in the NFC in prime time in a meaningful game? Yes. Impressive win. They're going to have home field in the NFC. They might even go further. They might win the conference. They might go to the Super Bowl. Buy in on the Niners. 2 seed, until they lose, I'm going to go with the Saints. They're cruising right now. They're up 3 in the NFC South with 5 to play. 3 seed, I think the Vikings are the better team in the NFC North, but Green Bay has the better schedule. Packers are going to win that division. And the Cowboys win the East by default, because I told you, Philly's not that good. Vikings get 1 wild card, and the Seahawks snatch the other one. They're crazy good. They could be the upset underdog that blows up the whole thing. We'll talk about them later. Is there anybody else who has a shot? This is what I really want to get to. We know who the playoff teams are because we know who the teams aren't. We know the teams that are the fakes, the pretenders, right? We know that the Raiders have no consistency week to week. They can get a clutch win in prime time in front of their home fans. They can almost lose to the Bengals and get blown out by the Jets. No consistency. We know the Steelers aren't a playoff team. They benched their starting quarterback against the winless Bengals. They got quarterback problems. We know the Rams aren't a playoff team. They're trapped in a Super Bowl hangover. And we know the Eagles can't make it because their offense is abysmal. I can say who the playoff teams are because I can tell you who isn't a playoff team. I can tell you who's not a playoff team. I feel like enough teams this week disqualified themselves. We know who's going on. I want to hear from you. Who are your playoff teams? Who are your playoff upsets? Who do you like? Who's your dark horse? Let me know. 541-630-4792. I stand by what I said in August. Patriots are the favorite in the AFC. I think Baltimore beats them, and I think the Seahawks win the Super Bowl. I do really like the Niners, though. I can't wait for the 3rd time these teams face off because I think it's going to happen. Niners, Seahawks, NFC Championship game. I can't wait for that. 541-630-4792. What do you think about that? Let's talk Civil War, wrapping up the show. Also, just more on the Niners. Jimmy G won me over in one play. I thought, here's a guy that threw a lot of turnovers last year. Here's a guy that had been a backup his entire career. Is he ready for this spotlight? Boom. Deep strike to Kittle. And the Niners shut the door. And now I'm left thinking, all the experts that have said he might prevent this team from going deep in the playoffs, we might underrate Jimmy Garoppolo. And that sounds obvious, but this is understandable. He was hidden on the bench. He's kind of a late bloomer. He got injured last year, missed a whole bunch of time, disappeared. And this is his first full, uninjured season as a starter. So we think these numbers are insane, and we think that, eventually Jimmy G is going to regress and go back to his old self. We don't know what his old self was. He never played a full season. This is it. I think we're looking at the real Jimmy G, and I think this Jimmy G can carry the Niners pretty far. Like I said, they could go to the Super Bowl. 541-630-4792. Wrapping up the show, wrapping up my week. I am helping my family move tomorrow. Wednesday, I have off for the holiday. Same Thursday, same Friday. I'm going to feast on some turkey. I implore you to do the same. Let's talk Civil War. We're going to air it right here on The Game and our sister station, News Media 99.5 and 880. I am really focused on one thing, weather. This game is going to be cold. It's going to be wet. Might be snowy. All I know is it's going to be miserable, and it's going to really hamper the offenses. And in a game like that, I believe you follow the lines. Who's got the better O-line? Oregon. Who's got the better D-line? Oregon. And who's going to win this game? Oregon. I think the Ducks do enough to win the Civil War and get back on track. Doesn't mean it'll be a rout, but they got the better O-line, better D-line. I think they get the win. I think Oregon moves on, and then we'll talk about what happens next week. Pac-12 title coming up soon. We'll talk about it then. Southern Oregon Sports Talk.